Hey everybody, welcome on back to Doc's Autos, and behind me, once again, finally the Challenger has returned, along with a box full of something we've been waiting for well over a year. That's right, this is the rear quarter panel. At least that's what it should be, and hopefully it's not damaged. It showed up a little while ago, but haven't had an opportunity yet to work on it until now, and we're in the garage. So we are going to make a bigger mess before things get better. The reason we're replacing the quarter panel, let me pan you down just a little bit here. There is definitely some evidence of prior damage, accident or something. This was all pushed in. There's tons of Bondo caked in here. Looks like it got hit with a shotgun or something, because there's just little holes and pits everywhere. And even with pulling this out, this was still wavy. This is pushed in. This is rusted out down here. It's just not worth saving, especially when we're putting so much work into the rest of the body to get it back to looking nice. I already did replace the inner section here, and after cutting this off, this also was pretty well damaged as well. Talked to Darren, and it's like, just replace it. So if you remember, we ordered just the section here, and 2 of 2 were damaged, and we decided after the second attempt, and there was no response from the vendor on replacing this with a good part, and they could make no guarantee that they would package it any better. Really, the other fenders or the other quarters came in a cardboard box, no packaging, no protection, and that showed by multiple dents and dings and corners being bent, not usable. So we opted to go for a full panel from AMD, paid up for that. The downside is it's a full panel with the sales section on here too. So I think I'm going to have to undo a lot of this work back here, including this. Look over here a little bit. Oh, you keep cutting off my head. Anyways, I think this area over here with our new trunk filler, that's going to have to come out. Just a lot of undoing things. Hi, there I am. Just a lot of undoing stuff. I guess not the best thing, but it's going to be right, and it'll be good when it's done. So we'll get rid of all this bad stuff, because of course you've got these holes. Inevitably you'll end up getting rust through them, even if you weld through, because I can't get behind here unless I go in through the back, and that's going to make even a bigger mess. So I guess that's where we are. Let me go grab that big pallet of stuff over there, and let's see if that's actually the right part. I haven't opened the box yet, so your guess is as good as mine. Well, let's take a look. Good old buck knife. Well, I can already tell this is packaged a whole lot better. The other 2 panels, like I said, cardboard box, drop kicked off the back of the shipping truck. Well, we're already in the right direction, because this is the panel for the correct side of the car. The first one we got was for the passenger side when I ordered the driver's side. As I thought, this is the full fender, so wraps into the trunk filler. So we've got some work ahead of us. Let me back you up a little bit, and we'll see. Alrighty, so bubble wrap. Kids are gonna love that. Well, whatever. All right. Hey, it's done. What do you know? That was easy. Yeah, not quite. But I'm at least happy the part is here. It's in a one piece, and now we've got something we can actually work with. There we go. It's there. It's on. We're done. Thanks for watching and subscribe. See you next time. No, not even close. I'm going to spare you the details of watching you remove 50 or 60 spot welds and pulling the old panel off. But my game plan is I'm going to take off sections at a time. So pretty much all I'm left with is, you know, an inch or two right around all the seams where it mates up to the rest of the car. I think it's going to be a lot easier to get the old panel off and not make a mess out of other things in the process. So I'm going to start working on that, and we'll check back in when we're closer to getting the old stuff off. Well, you know how I said it's going to get worse before it gets better? Yeah, it's definitely looking worse. So I've gotten most of what was left of that quarter panel cut out, and now it's pretty much just going along all these areas where we've got probably 3,000, 5,226 spot welds. Who knows? But that is my next task here, is to go through. I've started cleaning off some of the seams and the joints where the spot weld should be residing, but of course up here where I've already put on the roof, I've got to go grind all these out, and then my stitch welding here has got to get taken out. Behind here by the window assembly, there's some welds back here, of course all along the front here in the door jamb, down under here all in the wheel well, and then here, like I mentioned before, where we've already put in new metal, I've got to undo all of this. And then here, there is, in the trunk frame, there's just a little, not terribly large kind of border under the trunk itself. And that is spotted in as well. And yeah, it's just going to be messy. So I'm going to spare you 5 or 6 hours of taking out spot welds. And we'll come back when it's nearly cleaned up and ready to prep for the new panel going on. Now, looking in here, you can see, yep, there is not a lot of surface rust or anything like that. There's a dent there, great. But I am going to take some of the Eastwood rust inhibitor or rust encapsulator and spray that in here as well, because as long as we have this side of the car totally exposed, why not? That'll come sometime between now and reassembly with the new quarter panel up here. You know how I said earlier things are going to get worse before they get better? Things got worse. Anyways, we've gotten the old quarter panel out. There's actually a whole pile of it in front of my feet here, in maybe a dozen, 15, 18 pieces, but it's out, and in doing so, I discovered more rust in our wheelhouse, our tub, whatever you want to call it, so we can't go any farther. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Tim, didn't you expect this? It's an old car. What do you expect after everything else? And the answer is, I expected something in there, but I did not want to order parts, especially with extra shipping charges that I did not know for certain we needed until I got everything out and saw how bad it really was. Where is part of it? Here it is. So I cut this off. And if you can see this nice rusty stuff there, that was that wheelhouse area, and this was where the quarter was. That's not going to work, so I let Darren know. He's like, yep, order it. I've jumped on AMD, Auto Metal Direct. Already ordered the part. It'll be here. Well, it'll be here when it gets here. So for now, we're kind of stuck. I am going to be doing a few things in the meantime. There was some weight reduction in this area here in the pillar from previous water intrusion when the roof was damaged and leaked. So the best I can do is cut out that rotted area and replace it with some new metal. It is certainly not warranted to take the roof back off, take this entire section apart for a 1.5 by 1.5 chunk of rot. I'm also going to go through and hit it with the rust encapsulator throughout this entire area here, and protect what is here and just stop it from getting any worse. Now the wheelhouse section that I got the outer portion of it, and it does go up to this seam here, but I'm not, again, going to go through dismantling more than I need to, so I'm likely just going to section the area up to about here that I need, graft it in there, and call it good. It's going to be hidden behind the quarter, covered with underbody, rubber goo underneath, so you're never going to see it's there in any case. And hopefully we can move forward from that point. I have a little bit of lead work to do under here with the new quarter on. And for now, this is going to just sit on hold until the new part arrives. But for the meantime, I don't want this sitting on top of the car because it's got to go back down to the shop. I'm going to go ahead, just hang it on here with a couple of clamps, A, to see how it fits, and B, so it's not sitting on top of the roof. So let's do that. Well, it's kind of there. You can kind of see what it's going to look like when it's back together. Where is this one piece? Here it is. So, in the rear window here, this is the outside, this is the quarter. This little piece here, behind it, is a bunch of other little metal doodads and frame that was just literally spot welded on in this one place right on the pillar. I don't know what it does. I mean, it needs to go back on, but I don't see what purpose it serves. I don't have any clue what this thing is, so that's going to be something I've got to research. But for now, I'm going to finish getting this fender on there and put a pin in this until this other inner wheelhouse chunk comes in, and we can continue working on it. So for now, I'm going to disappear, and I'll come back just like this. Alrighty, we're back. It's been a couple weeks actually. We've got a ton of other stuff going on, family stuff, life stuff, work stuff, all crap not involving working on cars. Over here, I've got something. We got us that wheelhouse section. Look at that. Whoop. Right from AMD, Mopar certified part. Hell yeah. All right, so I'm gonna take this off. It's only held on with, I think, 2 or 3 sheet metal screws. And yeah, that was not fun to put on, but I guess it comes back off. Let's get this old piece off. We'll figure out what we're going to section off of here. I'm not going to replace the whole thing. Probably up to well, let's just take this thing off and I'll show you. Alrighty, the quarter panel is off, and we've got a lot of other structure. If I was going to replace this entire thing, a lot of this would have to come off. weld points here. This whole section has to be removed all the way down through here in the inner panels. That's way more work than we need to do, because really all I need was this extra, or this outer 1.5 inch on here. So what I'm going to do is measure up to right about here, just below where this piece is, and template it out. I've got kind of a nice stamping line on here that I may follow and go around, because I don't want to get into this disaster in there. If you peel back the onion, it just gets worse and worse. So we'll do that. We'll slide that over there, call it good, and put our new quarter in. Just tuck him in here. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. Anyways, yeah, that's our plan. This area here, I'll mark it, is going to get cut out. And probably, like I said, cut out on this piece first, and then go ahead and fit it in here where it needs to go. And again, since I've got this off, probably going to be a few on and off sections here, on and off attempts to get everything lined up. Cut once, measure once, cut twice, sure. Measure it, cut it, blindfold it, and move on. That's the plan. I'm sure Darren's going, oh God, no. Anyways, we'll get it on right. But for now, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start figuring out how I'm going to go and put this piece on here without removing everything else. So that's where I'm headed. Well, not a whole lot has changed, except, well, there's a quarter panel back on here. We're missing a tire, and yes, there is a jack stand down there. So what I've done off camera is I've probably taken a couple hours, just a little bit of trimming bit by bit to get this thing to fit where I want it to fit. I've got a couple of sheet metal screws holding it in place in here. I'll show you in just a second. But the important thing is, you probably can't see, but I can see down here, I've got a little more work to do down here to pull off some last bit of old quarter. But down here, where it meets up to this new wheelhouse, it is a darn snug fit. I don't have any gapping between the quarter and the wheelhouse. All the way around, back here where it fits in, it is just a spot on perfect fit. I'm super happy about that. If we go ahead and pull off the quarter here, yeah, that's never fun, but I'll show you. There we go. So here's what I got. Tucks up right in here, just how it should be, exact. Around under here, down under here. I've got a little trimming to do. I left some of the old wheel well in here, one of the Wheelhouse, just so I can test fit. But pretty much, here's the line I'm going to cut off. This area here has to be bumped out just a hair, so I'll probably grab my Porter Power and push it out just a hair. I think when I was trying to salvage the other quarter, I pushed this in just a little bit. So pop that back out, no problem. Cut our line, we'll tack it back in place, and we'll go from there. Like I said, I've got just a couple of sheet metal screws just to hold things in place when I was trying to get everything lined up. Had my clamps, but of course you can't have the clamps with the quarter on. And yeah, so next is going to be, I think, just, I'm going to, well, I think I'm going to pop this screw out, grab my Porter Power. Is that up here? Porter Power is down in the shop. So I gotta go find that. But I'm gonna pop this screw out here, push this out of here, and that's gonna give me the ability to mark my radius where I'm gonna cut, make the cut, tack it in, and then take our butt weld clamps from Harbor Freight, tack them in, put them in along here. I've got 6 or 8 of them. And that's going to allow us to start throwing in a bead and getting everything ready to go. So that is my next step. But first, I've got to go find the porta power. So assuming that's in the shop, that's going to have to thaw out for a while. So I'm going to let it thaw out and maybe go grab some supper. Alrighty, we've got everything pushed out approximately where it should be. I've got my line measured from our new metal going in here. So here's roughly where I'm going to cut. And hopefully that all lines up. So let's just start making a mess. Well, now that we've made a big mess, hopefully this fits back about where it should. I've got a little more cleanup to do down here, that I know. But in a perfect world, this should pretty much, a little trim there. This should all fit back in place. I did cut this a little bit long, so if I have to go back and do any other final trimming, I can once it's roughly in place, but I want to get the big chunk out of here so I can do final fitment and grab some clamps, some of those butt clamps, and start fitting things in here where they should go. I've got one mount down here for a final screw to hold it in, and like I said, I can clamp these other places in, and that should get us about where we need to go. Got a little more in through here to grab, and I think what I'll do is any places I need to trim, I'll just take the grinder or the cutoff wheel, go right through here so I get a nice uniform cut. That's going to allow me to have a nice butt weld to get this thing put back together. So let me go ahead, get the porta power taken out, put away, and get this tacked back in place. Alrighty, we've got our piece on here ready to go. It's all held in place with our butt clamps. Unfortunately, I realized I'm out of welding gas. And my clock says it is 10:45 on Saturday night. And the last thing I'm going to do is go knock on my neighbor's door and say, hey, can I borrow some gas? Nope. So I'm going to wait till Monday, run into town, refill my tank, and we'll pick back up again once I get that refilled. We'll get this piece welded in, go back to getting the rest of our quarter installed. We've got our filler panel, our little side panel here for the trunk. That's going to be fun. Anyways, hope you've enjoyed watching this section. It's kind of been uneventful, but we're making progress. I think once this is back in, it's the last big chunk of metal work, and then we can start finalizing everything, touch up our little things here and there, and get ready for primer and paint. So thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button below, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever, we're everywhere. Thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and we'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye-bye.